Greetings, my dear truth seekers. While the American experts of the so-called Institute for the Study of War continue to publish unverified information containing only statements from the Defense Department of Ukraine, experts from the Center for Eastern European Studies recognized the complete failure of the offensive actions of the Ukrainian army. Moreover, military experts from Europe also recognized the fact that the Russian army is successfully advancing and winning in several directions simultaneously. The fact is that unlike American experts from the Institute for the Study of War, who focus mainly on the statements of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine and Ukrainian bloggers, European experts in their reports use data from war correspondents from both sides, analyzing the situation and checking the data. Therefore, even despite the full power of Western propaganda and misinformation machine, the truth very often comes to the surface. Thus, Western experts were forced to admit that Russian troops had captured the strategically important village of Torskoy, thereby depriving the Ukrainian army of a major logistics center that supplied Ukrainian troops with everything they needed on the entire Donetsk front. Moreover, by capturing the village of Torskoy, the Russian army cleared its way for a further offensive on the city of Krasny Liman. Meanwhile, in the north, Russian troops are rapidly approaching the border of the Kharkiv region, shifting the line of contact in the direction of the cities of Kupiansk and Izium. If the pace of the offensive actions of the Russian army does not change, then the Ukrainian troops will be completely squeezed out of the LPR border in 14 days. War correspondents also note the battles that have begun for the largest settlement in the Luhansk region, STELMAKHOVKA. Despite the fierce resistance of the Ukrainian armed forces, the Russian troops managed to come close to this strategically important settlement. At the moment, fierce fighting is underway on the outskirts of STELMAKHOVKA. According to experts, the armed forces of Ukraine does not have the necessary resources for a long resistance, and most likely this village will be handed over to the Russians in the coming days. As for the Zaporizhzhia direction, here the offensive actions of the armed forces of Ukraine are completely exhausted. The Ukrainian army lost its offensive pace, which allowed the Russians to start moving forward in the Zaporizhzhia direction as well. So, on July 14, Russian troops conducted a successful offensive operation near the city of Huliapol by taking the village of Chervonoye in tight pincers. If the armed forces of Ukraine loses that village, then the further offensive of the Russian army on the city of Huliapol will not take long to wait. Against the background of all this, the statements of the deputy of the main operational directorate of the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, General Alexei Gromov, look very pathetic. In fact, the Ukrainian general is trying to justify the major failure of the Ukrainian armed forces in the Zaporizhzhia direction. According to him, the Russians have created a powerful defensive line here, some elements of which have a length of up to 60 kilometers. The Ukrainian general admitted that the Ukrainian armed forces will not be able to overcome the Russian defensive line if NATO does not transfer a large amount of sapper and engineering equipment to Ukraine. Meanwhile, the Ukrainian army is rapidly losing not only its offensive, but also its defensive resource, forcing the armed forces of Ukraine to conduct combat operations only in certain areas of the front. That is why the order for total mobilization, which was signed by President Zelensky, began to forcibly take even Ukrainian teachers, doctors, art workers, and even scientists to the front.